no time. Like last week.
Last week was noon.
It says 72
Yeah.
register.
By the time we left last week, I think it was 73.
That's hot.
Yeah.
That's hot, yeah. Human bodies. Hello. Good, okay. Yes. Yeah, but go here. Guys, it's the same.
I never heard that. I'm gonna
Yeah.
call.
I was like starting to compile this just to.
That is great. That is great. Oh my gosh, I've never
Yeah.
heard that. My husband, I'm gonna tell him that when he's drinking on the weekend. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say, "Drink a lot of straight fire." Drink the water, right? No. Hurts all the time. Really is. It's not boring for some, right, but very like. Yeah.
Yeah, check here. I mean, I have a buzzer. We can't sign them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, right, that was a lot nice.
She was paying. They're flipped over, you can have them. It's time.
Okay, I have 7 o'clock. For those of you who are new, anybody new, we say the pledge and stay standing for a moment of silence. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
thank you. We honor our military personnel, our first responders, by giving them just a brief moment. We'll take a roll call. Mr. Rhodes.
Here.
Ms. Fix.
Here.
Mr. Steve.
Here.
I'm here. Mr. Gullo is absent. On our agenda, we'll take item 2, citizens' concerns. While the agenda may list kind of a 3-minute rule, that's something that's not strictly adhered to by any measure. I think it's important to this board that we hear the concerns. We ask you to keep them brief because we do have another items on the agenda, but it is important that we hear from you. Any citizens' concerns? If you'd stand, please, state your name.
I'm Carrie Mounts, 2482 Hay Creek Road, Birdsboro. I just wanted to come out and tell everyone that we wrapped up the 2025. I'm also the tax collector, in case anybody doesn't know.
Please don't take it out on her. She's just doing her job.
Yeah, don't shoot the messenger. So I just wanted to let everyone know we did close out the 2025 year. We submitted 82 bills to tax claim. Honestly, that's not a bad number at all. Out of, I think we had like 3,400 parcels this year. So 82 bills went to tax claim. I want to just get the message out that, the mail is terrible. The United States Postal Service is terrible. Since tax claim took my bills, I received 5 bills that were postmarked December 27th that should have come to me, that were out there in who knows where. So I want to remind people that they are able to utilize the drop box that's located at my home at 2482 Hay Creek Road. You guys can just pull in there. It's on the garage. It's keyed. There's a camera on it. Lots of residents are using it. Residents come out to the house to pay if, it's not during sitting hours. But I just want to remind people because, it's not fair that these tax bills are coming in later and then I have to, talk to the county about getting them accepted and, everything's delayed due to the mail. But I just want to let everyone know that I am available. I had a couple residents that needed me to come out to their house this year due to different situations. We had a couple knee replacements and I'm happy to stop by. And a reminder, the tax bills for County Township are coming out March 1st. So look for them. If you happen to not receive it due to the United States Postal Service, give me a call. I'm happy to email/text message you a picture of your bill or snail mail you another one. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Molly Goslin. I live on 577 Cedar Hill Road. Sorry, that's a lot. So I live about like an 1/8 of a mile up from.
I'm having trouble hearing you, ma'am.
Sorry, I live about maybe an 1/8 of a mile from where the entrance to the proposed data center is. So I'm just here to continue to express my concern about the data center. The EAC has worked very hard on an ordinance. I think it should be looked at and considered. Just in that first quarter mile from 724 up to the quarry, there is a lot of industry that is already there. We don't need any more. It's loud constantly. The train's there a lot. We have a farm there. There's formstone. So the addition of the data center is not going to benefit us at all. Not me as living right next door to it, but anybody in this room or in our township. Primary concern is definitely the water. We know that data centers can only use clean drinking water to cool their systems, and that they're drying up local aquifers. We're in a drought watch. We had a drought last year. A data center is not going to help us recover from that, nor is it going to make it any better. So, we need water. We have to drink water. We need water to grow our food. We can't drink data. So, just, I think, take into consideration the health of your residents, the water, aquifer, the things that will negatively impact citizens of this township when you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, if that's it, we'll move on to correspondence. In our packet, we have our annual State Ethics Commission. For those of you who are not aware, you're required to file yearly on forms provided by the Ethics Commission disclosing a number of things, which to my knowledge everybody has completed in the past. We have a non-collective bargaining group agreement. We also have a correspondence from Elverson, Honeybrook area EMS. I'd note that they ran a program at the Twin Valley High School, kind of a career day. I'd also note that they have kind of a coat, if you will, a coat drive, where they help out as a community project. So it seems like that organization is on top of it. We also got a clearance, which we were waiting for, I don't know how long, with respect to the Office of Election Services and our ability to appoint an auditor. Sometimes when you think of an auditor, you might think of someone auditing books, if you will, but my understanding of this appointment is we have an auditor that would set certain pay scales. Is that not correct, Mr. Steve?
That's pretty much, it varies what their responsibilities are from municipality to municipality, but here, that's pretty much.
Well, I think it's under the Second Township Class Code, where they'll set a fee for a treasurer, secretary, if they're inclined to get paid, and I think they're limited to only 2 or 3. So 2 or 3 payments, 2 or 3 offices to pay, and that's also on kind of a scale. I think they typically meet, if at all, once or twice a year. So I guess we could appoint someone, or will appoint someone for that. Okay, police.
Good evening, Board. The first thing I have on the agenda is we're circling back to the discussion on BAS. On Monday, I sent the board an email with our email thread between us and BAS, just kind of trying to elaborate on what and why it needs to be changed. And I'm just curious if you guys have a chance to look at it and if you've made a decision.
I think we did, at least I looked at it preliminarily. I asked Harold to, as he's sat in the office as an outgoing interim manager, if you will, and I don't think that's something that we're prepared to act on tonight. Harold, do you want to elaborate on some of your findings?
I'll be honest, I don't know exactly what they're asking for here. It sounds like looking for an upgrade of some kind.
No, so in the contract, so this should have been taken care of prior to my taking my point as acting chief. It wasn't. It was one of the things that we found that was never taken care of. So when the contract negotiations came out, it was agreed upon that the officers get a $3,000 medical reimbursement with a rollover up to $6,000. At that point, somebody probably should have contacted BAS and to make sure the plan was able to be taken care of like that. Obviously it wasn't, so when they sent their invoice this year to sign on to redo the program again, I found out that it can only be rollover to $3,400. And I said, well, that's not gonna work for us. What is the remedy? And that is switching from the FSA plan to the HRA plan, or whatever I label it as. The HRA plan. I asked them, what's the difference? Pretty much, well, there's not a difference besides that. I think can go up to $8,400 instead of $3,400. It's the same thing. If one of the officers use something, prescriptions or something medical, they submit it to BAS. BAS approves it or denies it, and then they send them the check. And it is contractual, like I said, it is in the contract that it goes up to 6,000.
It is, but I disagree with the assumption that is for everyone. It's for everyone that takes the insurance.
You're talking about two different things. Even if there's one person on it, the plan still has to change because as of now, it can only go up to $3,400. And the reason we're here at this point is because there's people that are over that $3,400 and the money's not showing up in their account.
But that can only be utilized by people who are on the medical plan, correct?
It can be utilized by, what do you mean by that? Like the VAS, medical reimbursement?
Yeah.
It can be utilized whoever has it.
Well, like I said, when I read that contract, it specifically talks about the healthcare plan, and it specifically says for those participating. And the reason it says for all officers is because somebody thought it was a pool of 3,000 for everyone as a whole.
And I get that, I understand that, but again, it's two different issues in my opinion.
Well, I don't
That's
disagree
something
with
that
that.
has to be addressed differently, but this is like their plan, even if, again, if it's one officer who is entitled to this, that's how you feel, the plan's still not holding that part.
Reflecting what it
Reflecting
should.
it, it has to be changed.
Well, let's have our, I don't think it's outrageous to have our solicitor look at it, or perhaps someone, more skilled. So I don't think the board's ruling that out, but let us get the least bit more information and, or do the least bit more research, due diligence, if you will. Mr. Rhodes, are you in agreement with that?
Well, yeah, I think our solicitor should look at it, at least get it cleared up so we know what we
Meaning,
should do.
So do you want me to go back to the association and tell them that you're gonna have the solicitor look at it and they should have their solicitor look at it?
It's up to you guys what you wanna do. We just wanna make sure we're clear we're doing right for both you and, you and the
Yeah.
township.
Okay.
So whatever you guys feel you gotta do, and then, we'll get that looked at. So, by next month, hopefully we'll have a little further progress.
The next thing I have on the agenda was the discussion on the gun range. Since that discussion came up, Harold and I reached out to Birdsboro, and Birdsboro's in agreement. They have a gun range, which is actually, I believe, in Robeson Township, that we can, I would say, barter services. We send Phil Bentz down there to do defensive tactics. They have to pay him to do it, so we're gonna kind of squash it, I would say, that we can use their range and Phil will go down there and do their mandatory updates every year. If the board's okay with that.
That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, we already have a mutual aid agreement and stuff like
Yeah,
that,
we
so I
already
don't
have
think
it.
we need to do anything else with that, do we?
The only thing I would recommend that their range is around a lot of walking trails. There's a lot of hikers there. There's a lot of climbers there. When we shot there this past year, they are not far. They stand there and watch. I don't know if it's something that the solicitor needs to take a look at to see if there's a waiver or something.
Don't they have a flag indicating the range is hot?
No. I don't know if you'll be able to get the amount of people to abide by that are walking on those trails,
Well, I
climbing
think,
those mountains and
I
everything.
mean, you see a stop sign and you don't stop, unless
Yeah,
it's on
right,
you.
Right.
But, if we give some indication that the range is hot, I mean,
Yeah.
I think that would be beneficial to
We
everyone.
would hope that, the several police cars there would
Indicate it.
gunshots indicate it, but I'm
Well,
not saying that that's gonna happen.
The way
but
people are today, they might think there's a body there and then everybody wants
We
to
can
see
reach
it.
out to Birdsboro and see, what they wanna do.
It sounds like a good idea, and it sounds like, as much use as an existing facility you can make, the better, so
Yeah.
we'll look at that a little bit further. Anything else?
That's all I have, Rob. Thank you, Ron. That's all I have.
When we're talking about moving on to Roman numeral 5 on the agenda, our finance and our monthly expenses, one of the things that I asked Harold to kind of thoroughly review and look at is, all our incoming bills and expenses, and I would say to some degree it's been eye-opening, with some things being left undone and some things maybe being done not quite properly. So at this point, Harold, you've been pretty much thoroughly through that, and while we don't have a list in front of us, you believe that those expenses are in order, correct?
Yes.
Okay, now we've had some issues with processing of checks recently, and that's scheduled to be straightened out, tomorrow?
Monday.
Monday. Okay. So then, would it be your position that you'd be looking for a motion to pay those bills?
Yes, I would.
Okay, I have some reluctance on that issue, but under the circumstances, we want our vendors to be paid. Based on the bills that I've seen, they seem to be appropriate.
I do have
They
the
do have them
bills,
here.
bills here, but the wrong date on the checks.
Okay, well, I guess typos occasionally happen, so will someone make a motion to, pay our monthly expenses?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Rhodes make a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mr. Steve. All those in favor, by roll call vote, Mr. Rhodes,
Yes.
Ms. Fix,
Yes.
Mr. Steve,
Yes.
and I'll vote yes.
And when we're making motions moving forward, can we, instead of just saying I'll make that motion, can we say what you're motioning? Just so I can get it properly on the record, if that's good with everybody? Cool.
Anybody object to a rather reasonable request?
It's a little hard to, when we go, I'll say, or I'll make that motion, you know what I mean?
All right,
Yes.
so
Sewer aging report is here, if anybody's like to take a look at it. There's quite a few.
why don't you tell everybody what a sewer aging report is?
That's people who have not paid their sewer bill in the past quarter and beyond. So we have some here that range from being a quarter behind to here somebody's working on 2 years.
Here's the situation in the nutshell. The township takes a position as it relates to our sewers that we don't put people out of their homes, we don't take as aggressive action as some, but we do record a lien, in a sense perfecting a priority position so that in most instances, or many instances, when a house gets sold or property gets transferred, we would be in line to get paid. It's not a foolproof plan per se, but those liens do get recorded at the courthouse, and we'll be talking, a little bit further with our solicitor on that going forward. Mr. Steve serves in somewhat of a unique position, being a member of the sewer authority, the municipal authority, as well as a board, the Board of Supervisors. That's not prohibited, but right now, he and I are in the process of looking into the lease, or I'll say negotiating a lease, finalizing a lease. I on behalf of the Board of Supervisors, and Mr. Steve on behalf of the authority. That is also listed under item Roman numeral 7B, and I had intended to give to our solicitor, but did not quite accomplish that, a copy of the lease so he could get started. You may recall, or so we could discuss it at least, you may recall that we had to employ outside counsel due to a conflict with our prior solicitor. And while we have not had the courtesy yet to contact that solicitor, that attorney, I don't believe his services will be needed at this point, as that will be covered under our existing solicitor. So having said that, I guess we're ready to move on to Roman numeral 6, which is an update on Old River Road. Any update on Old River Road, Mr. Steve, that you've seen?
Well, yeah, I can tell you the surveyors were out there today, surveying for the new bridge. I don't know how long that process is gonna take.
Why don't you restate just briefly what that new bridge is all
The
about?
graded bridge on Old River Road, by their house.
Okay, so that's gonna create some disruption for those who use that bridge,
Yeah, I think you're probably maybe 2 years away from that even,
but it is
it
going
is in the works.
It is in the works. The next item has to do with the temporary staff. As you know, we are employing from time to time staff to help while we secure full-time positions and township employee positions.
Before we leave the Old River Road,
Yeah,
we're still trying to figure out the calming for the impending closure of 724. Right now, we're leaning more just closing it. To non-residents. So more to come on that, but that's what the engineer's suggesting at this point, because the option the state gave us was just too expensive.
when Mr. Steve's referring to calming, I think he's referring to slowing traffic on that road.
That would be correct.
Okay, and it's a problem for those who live there, and it's gonna be a problem as they close 724 Bridge. We don't know an exact date on that, do we?
No, it was supposed to happen in January, but they're required, the town that notify the township 2 weeks prior to closure.
One
And
thing.
as far as I know, nothing's been.
One thing that occasionally happens is I'll get a call saying, you know, something's wrong on Route 568 or Route 10 or Route 724. And I try and tell people that we as a board, while we may have indirect say or indirect comments on those state roads, the state still controls that. And sometimes not everything goes quite as smoothly as we would like. As it relates to township roads, certainly ones that intersect with state roads, we do have interaction. We do have, I'll say mutual cooperation, but there are things that are out of our hands. The closing of that bridge, I mean, I don't know, Mr. Steve, you're the oldest one on this board. How old is that bridge?
Wow, after that bus hit me. The one on
724.
74, probably late 60s. 724 in late.
I don't
late
remember
60s.
any other bridge, and I was born in 1961, but either way, it's out of our control. It's going to be significantly inconvenient, but there's nothing else we can do other than keep you advised of the situation. The fee schedule.
Paula says she's still waiting on
It's
getting information back,
temporary
feedback from
staff.
some people.
Oh, temporary staff.
Huh.
We were starting to talk about that. What can you tell us on any updates on any other temporary staff that we're adding? I touched briefly on it. You're all aware that our office is shorthanded, and Paul is doing a Herculean job, you know, and Harold's been in there a good bit dealing with some things that have to be done. What can you tell us, if anything, Harold?
I sent out
Did I see a resume?
yes, you did. So I was hoping we could
No,
talk
that was
about
a-
that in executive, and
That was a management resume?
No, that was a fiscal.
it was
Wasn't it a fiscal?
fiscal.
Yeah, it was a fiscal.
Okay, yeah, now I
Yeah.
recall. All right, so yeah,
Agency, right?
Yeah.
okay, so we'll talk about that in an executive session, and we can move on to the fee schedule. We were
Yeah.
not in a position last week to,
Yeah, we're still waiting on, or Paul's still waiting on some people to get back to her, tell her what fees they want to include. This is the first time since we passed the ordinance, that we can increase the fees for some things. I know I talked to Jason, and we increased the fire alarm permit, and as well as the habitual,
burglar alarm or house alarm.
yes.
One of the things we're doing, guys, with the fees is we're trying not to burden the general fund, the general taxpayer, for fees perhaps consumed by others. We're trying to make them as affordable as possible, but try and make them, you know, as fair as possible too. And, you know, when you're paying a fee, not everybody likes to pay those fees, but, you know, we
So in
all-
the meantime, though, we're utilizing last year's fee schedule, correct? For anything
Yeah,
that comes
yeah,
in
the
now.
current fee said, yeah. So hopefully we get to pass that soon, because, you know, for instance, the burglar alarm permit is $10. It takes more than that just to process the check. So it really losing money. And once again, you want people who need a burglar alarm to be able to afford it, but $10 is a one-time fee.
All right, purchase of AEDs.
So I was talking to Jason, and he could use another AED, but more importantly, I ran into, doing some CPR training, and the AEDs have really come a long way. You can now have them Bluetooth to monitor the condition of the actual AED, whether it needs a new battery, whether, you know, and they're about $2,000 a piece. I didn't get any real quotes or anything like that, but I thought maybe something we wanted to look at and see
Are there any grants available for it?
Oh, well, right now, there's just nothing out there for, at one time, you called the hospital and you could get a couple.
Yeah.
And, but there's just nothing out there. I'll reach out to a couple connections I have to
Well,
see whether there's something out there.
If we
but-
need it, we gotta have it. I mean, it sounds like something that's,
Like I said, I put it on here because I thought if you guys wanted me to chase that, I would. If there's no interest, I don't need to waste my time.
Is this something you keep in each car, or is it just at the station?
So we would love to have one in each car, and we used to, like Harold said, when they first became big, like Tower Health, Reading Hospital, they would just hand them out.
Yeah.
Well, now we have to purchase them all, so we have 2 right now,
Okay.
which we have like go bags the guys put in the car, but obviously if we get a hot call, the first thing on their mind is to get in the
Yeah.
car and go, so we just wanna make sure that we have as many as we possibly can.
Yeah, the other thing is I'd like to see one here in this building and one at the
Yeah.
That's
township
probably
building,
great.
because you never know, and then, somebody out in the shop does something maybe they're not supposed to, and next thing you know, they're on the floor, and be like, nice to be able to help them out.
I mean, I'm okay if you wanna look into it and hit your contacts up and see if there's
Okay.
anything available that we can utilize to purchase them.
But when you're talking $2,000 versus like saving a life, I don't know. I feel like
Well,
it's,
I'll-
I'd spend
if,
it.
if I was laying there, it's like, I'm gonna pay the $2,000,
Yeah.
Can you
You
keep
are the
in
ones
mind
on
that the
board.
fire company is also looking for AEDs, so if you get a deal or something.
Did I see that on your list?
No, it's not. But that came up at our last meeting, that ours are 20 years old, and
Yikes.
we called Phillips about getting them replaced.
Yeah, a lot of them, you can't even get batteries for anymore.
Yeah, that's the one.
And, well, I mean, if they were, I was gonna call and see, the more numbers you get, I'm assuming the better deal you can find. So, we'll see.
so check into that and,
And
we'll keep it on the agenda here.
The ones they have now, you used to have 2 sets of pads, just a button. You have 1 set of pads, hit the button for children, and that's it.
All right, decommission of fuel tanks. I think, Harold, you asked for that. Going forward, if someone wants something on the agenda, the board will make a decision what goes on the agenda, but if it's by a board member, we'll put our initials next to it, and that way we can kind of know who's interested in what and further done. So that was your suggestion or your.
Yeah, so we've been going back and forth. We got the WEX cards, the fuel cards, which do a great job at, we don't pay the sales tax or the road taxes for any of the fuels we buy. Typically, when we would buy fuel for here, we have to seek reimbursement for that tax money, which is another job for somebody else to do and track. So the fuel cards were, I thought, a great idea. It tells you, what vehicle's using whatever gas. And the gas pumps were not in great condition.
And you're talking about our gas pumps?
Are talking about.
Okay,
our
and
gas
they're
pumps.
located on this property,
Yeah.
behind our building where we're at
That
today.
is correct. And now I understand from Barry, they don't work at all anymore.
Okay, they were put in, I believe, when? Late
My guess
80s?
would be early 80s.
probably wasn't even born.
As I recall, it was early 80s. As I was a township employee in the late 70s, cutting the grass, and I remember, cutting grass and looking at tanks. So,
And the other thing is the tanks are about the end of their life cycle.
well, you would figure 46 years, that's probably, good. So you want them decommissioned, meaning taking out of services, will they be removed?
So I made a call, matter of fact, the company that Scott works for, and I actually talked to Scott. And he checked with the environmental guys that actually do
You're
this.
talking Scott, our supervisor, Scott.
Yeah, and he thinks, or they estimate between 20 and 40 grand.
Each?
Depending-
There's 2, right?
Yeah, it wouldn't be for the whole thing, I would assume. But you have no idea what you're gonna get into until you start, digging. Could be environmental hazards or issues there, and you got, earth to clean up, and so you really don't know.
All right, well, let's talk about that further, think about it further. If we're not using them and we don't need them, is there a formal decommissioning process or?
I'm sure there is. and probably, go ahead.
When I worked for Brooks Products, I used to drive concrete, and we would decommission a lot of tanks, and what they would do is cut the tops off and then fill them with flowable fill and leave them in place. That way, by digging them up, you don't contaminate any soil.
Yeah, I've done that myself on a tank, but I don't know whether we're allowed to do that.
All right, well, let's, think about that, and we'll keep that on the agenda.
Yeah, they put like a slurry in there.
Mm-hmm. Called flowable fill.
Yeah.
Okay. Roman numeral 7 has to do with supervisors' reports. Supervisor Rhodes?
No updates since last time.
Okay. And you heard my update on the lease. That lease dates, the original lease dates was a 30-year lease, dates to 1986. And I'll have you, I'll have our solicitor take a look at that. Item 8 would be our fire companies and our emergency management coordinator. I did see reports, correct?
We do have reports.
I'm not sure we're gonna keep that, keep the format, or keep that segment in the agenda the same way. What I'd like to do in months going forward is to kinda, I'll say, beef up the agenda. It's always easier to put items on that you may not be able to get to, you may not be able to reach a decision, but, it's not as easy if we try and do things that, we shouldn't necessarily, we haven't necessarily put on the agenda. There are ways to do things and exemptions. However, the more informed that you are, the more, the more that you see and hear, the better. So, the next item is item 9, that's our minutes, our expenses, and our reports. Some of those have been produced at our workshop session. Some have not been produced, but in any event, I'd entertain a motion that we accept all of those minutes, expenses, and reports.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes, expenses, and reports in our possession.
I'll second that.
Now, Ms. Fix, is that satisfactory to you?
That was perfect. Thank
You
you,
got a
Jeff.
perfect grade, Mr. Rhodes.
I try.
He tries. So by roll call vote, Mr. Rhodes,
Yes.
Ms. Fix,
Yes.
Mr. Steve,
Yes.
and I'll vote yes.
Before we move on, can we talk a little bit about the fire reports? Jim Roller has some requests on their report. And are you guys actually looking to get another vehicle?
Yes,
Is that what's here?
the squad we have has an engine issue.
And have you guys sought out any grants or
No, not at this time. We have the truck crew, our meeting was Monday and we had a truck crew committee formed.
Okay, so you don't even know what you want yet?
No,
Okay. I was just saying because I sometimes see these grants come across. I just saw a big one for EMS and I think I sent you one,
yeah,
but it's a,
one.
it's a, I don't think you're gonna get anything out of that because it's mostly loans
Yeah,
and 4 or 5%. Your QuickBooks, it costs a lot of money for QuickBooks nowadays.
yeah, I know.
Okay, Mr. Steve?
Yeah, I guess that's it.
Okay, one of the things that we talked about at the workshop session, one of the issues is ways to, I'm gonna say control and cut costs where possible. And while we have 2 meetings, I'm hoping that at times, depending on the situations, we'll be able to allow our solicitor and or our engineer and anyone else that might be on the clock to not attend, particularly if they've done things in advance. So I'm not sure, you can see our engineer's not here, but he's did a thorough job at workshop, and I think we're kind of clear on his report. Is there anything you want to say about the guardrail
He sent us an email.
on Rock Hollow?
I think they're waiting for the vendor to go out and take a look at that to see how they can move it if they can. You went on the walk down? Is that pretty much?
I think it's what his email said, didn't it?
Yeah, I
The
think
site
that-
meeting was
he said
held
it
on
in there.
January 7th with both CMS and Whitman Engineering. The concern regarding how close the bridge rail is to the northbound travel lane as you're leaving the bridge was expressed to the contractor. We are still waiting for CMS to provide a proposed resolution for the issue.
And that's something he commented on, as I
Yeah.
recall, at workshop.
Yes.
Do you want me to read a second update?
No,
No? Okay.
not unless it adds to it.
It's regarding the Schuylkill River Trail.
Go ahead.
We are waiting to hold a virtual meeting involving our office, Schuylkill River Greenways, and PennDOT to discuss the matter.
And that's the
The crossing.
crossing east of here where there was a fatality a number of years ago.
That's 724, and
Okay,
I believe Old River Road, is that what it is? Or Schuylkill Road, I think it is, yeah.
all right.
You guys, I thought I saw one of those signs down the other day that we put up after the fatality.
I don't think we put those signs up, did the
Well, yeah,
Commonwealth?
but we own them now.
PennDOT did. On 724? I take notice, but we'll look.
Okay.
We'll take a look and we'll see.
Alright.
Roman numeral 11, I'd like you to introduce yourself again. You,
Again, if you weren't here last week, my name's Mark Marola, the solicitor. So I'm happy to answer any questions and you may have. And again, as far as the workshop meetings, yeah, if things, you don't need me, certainly save the money, just let me know.
now, we always need you, but we're going to be intermittently constrained sometimes. We like to economize when possible. That's
Be
just,
efficient.
that's just a preliminary idea. Mr. Morrell had a conflict at the last workshop session due to a cover over, but one of the things that particularly I was interested in as a solicitor was when you go over and read the responses to our request for proposals, one of the things I was looking for in a solicitor was a solicitor that had no representation of anyone directly or indirectly on the board. That's been, in my mind, an intermittent problem in the last 25 years, and hopefully that problem has been eliminated. So, Mr. Marola, there's a fee ordinance, and we discussed in executive session, I believe, a cease and desist authorization. Those are the only two matters other than some things that we know we have in the works. I believe you'll see the agenda being expanded in months to come. So, I don't know if you have any comment on those issues.
The two that are there, the fee ordinance, we know we're waiting for some fees. And the cease and desist, I have a draft that I wanted the chief to make sure he was okay with it before I publish it to the supervisors, making sure you want to send it out.
We'll stand by. If we have questions, we'll further direct you. We probably will need you in executive session, so I don't want to send you home early. Mr. Redding.
Evening, Board. First item I have is looking into the possibility of employing or advertising for another public works employee. We have one that is going to be retiring in March, April. Just trying to get ahead of it because we know how the hiring process goes and getting a good applicant. So it's just something to, whether you want to take action now or, just bringing it up to.
Is that a definite retirement?
Yes,
He just hasn't picked a date yet.
yes, he just hasn't picked the date.
And they have a pretty aggressive schedule, starting in March. So,
You're talking about the road crew.
yes, public works.
That being said, our paving schedule is going to be pretty intense this year. So again, whether you would like to take action on it or wait, kind of sit on it and stew on it for another month or whatnot. It's just putting it out there, that's all.
I mean, if we wait a month, that puts us
Yeah, I'm
Maybe
thinking
You're gonna
we
need
should make a
salary,
motion to
right?
advertise.
Yeah.
You think about it, so we advertise January, we're not gonna get interviews done till February.
February.
And, you know, the one guy's walking in the door, the other guy's walking out.
Right.
So I'll make a motion that we advertise for a, public works employee.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
All those in favor, Mr. Rhodes,
Yes.
Ms. Fix,
Yes.
Mr. Steve,
Yes.
and I'll vote yes.
Thank you, Board. My second item, this is kind of gonna go with B and C. Looking to have basically possibly repairing the 2004 Chevy, the 2004 Freightliner dump truck. That truck there will have the leaf box on the back of it for chipping when we do brush cutting and also the leaf picking. That being said, that truck there is going to, we're looking at like $2,800 for repairing it. My personal opinion, that truck is not worth it. So that kind of spins off into letter C, consider selling the 2015 Ford F-550, which we're currently having problems with again, after we spent quite a bit of money on it last year, $16,000. So that'd be selling the F-550, the 04 Freightliner that's currently needing inspection, and the 2001 Chevy pickup. My idea was to sell all three of those pieces and get one 5500 or 6500 Chevy dump truck that obviously haven't plowed.
Will that leave you short, selling three to get one?
It would not, because we have the new pickup, then we have the bucket truck. The new pickup fits 4 people. Typically, if we're out somewhere, somebody's in a piece of equipment anywhere, whether it be a backhoe, skid loader, so on and so forth. Just trying to consolidate possibly. The biggest thing is a reliable piece to plow snow. Again, that's just an idea, but if the board so wishes, the quote to get the 04 Freightliner back on the road for inspections, $2,800. That's for parts and labor.
So,
The cost of a new truck, I knew it was coming, Harold, and I apologize for not putting it on there, but Harold and I were kind of working in the office trying to get a ref estimate on what a new truck would be that we're kind of looking for. We're looking at about $120,000.
That outfitted with everything?
Yeah, that's the
And
truck.
is there, how long is the delay on that?
To get a new one, we're looking at about 6 to 7 months. It's not as long as a new 10-ton dump truck, but it has some lead time to it.
And unfortunately, this was not budgeted,
Yeah.
so we have to, I think we should start looking at grants or whatever we can right now. Right now, there's not a whole lot out there, and the grants that we've already applied for, I don't think you're gonna hear until late summer. So I think we should try and get on the bandwagon with that, now that we've spec'd one.
Yeah.
And, did you hear anything back on, repairs to the 550?
No, not yet. I'm still waiting to hear from Tomasano. I did contact Tomasano because that's who did the previous repairs on the F-550, which included $16,000 worth of work. And the same issue from when it was in Tomasano, that's what we're having again. So I kinda got on the horn. I mean, those repairs aren't even a year old. So something should be done. I just don't like the way some other people have Fords. I'm just kind of looking at other municipalities, and there's a reason why other people are offloading them.
We have to check the owner's manual and see whether there's a trouble number for Ford in there,
Yeah.
and call them direct.
They're known for the DPF problems, which is diesel particulate, but,
They should be all more happy to help us out.
oh yeah.
The new dump, is that something you're looking to have for next plow season?
It would be for next plow season, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be too late.
My only,
Well, yeah, I didn't know if they were looking for something like for the summer or if it was just strictly for.
no, my
for
only
plow
concern,
season.
I would like to have it for the later part of the summer, cause that's, we're kinda getting out of paving season. We need a box on the back of a truck for chipping, and then we also, we start leaf collection. Of which, speccing out a truck of this nature would be able to put the leaf box that we have now right on it.
So at the earliest end of summer?
Yeah.
And around fall, okay.
All right, so we're gonna look for some grants, and we're gonna keep that on the agenda for next
Cool.
month.
I mean, this is just me, but I'm thinking, why do we wanna keep that 04 Freightliner laying around?
Yeah,
If we're gonna have to put money in to move it, we might as well get rid of it now,
yeah.
and at least you'll know what you got for
Sure,
it.
you're not gonna need it
Yeah,
right away,
right,
yeah.
just like you can't use it,
Yeah.
get rid of it.
That was my other question, if I should just, go up there tomorrow, bring it home, kind of power wash it, do what we can to it, and,
Throw it on this bid.
take pictures and put it on municipal.
Is that the board's pleasure?
I'll make that motion that we, place the 2004 Freightliner on, municipal bid, as soon as it's available.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Rhodes, second. All those in favor, Mr. Rhodes,
Yes.
Ms. Fix,
Yes.
Mr. Steve,
Yes.
I'll vote yes.
Thank you, board. My last item, Harold had touched on the decommissioning of the fuel pumps. Kind of echoing off of him, the Wix fuel cards are working really well for us. It's no, inconvenience. Turkey Hill's right there. We need fuel, we get it. Cards always work. There's no problem with it. If I'm not mistaken, I believe 2028 or 2029, these fuel tanks out back are at their life cycle, which
So we're right on the money there.
we'll be here before we know it. Yeah. So that's all I have.
All right, thank you.
So what's
Thank
card
you.
working for you guys? Bob? Yeah, and you can use them just about anywhere.
All right, then there are no items for Park and Recreation. On the EAC, we have the data center, which we've been discussing. Is there anything else that we need to talk about in the data center?
The only thing that I would say is that, just it is my feeling, in case, do I need to state my name?
I got you.
Okay. So the EAC by definition is a council to make recommendations related to the environment protection, health, safety, and welfare of the township residents. So with that in mind, and the fact that we were the ones that kind of came forth with this idea of like, let's jump ahead of the curve, is that we really think that it's in the idea of transparency as well, to make sure that we are part of making sure that collecting the information, there's nobody here that's a data center expert. There's nobody here that's particularly a data center, but there's a lot of people that have a lot of information that we can pull together as a community. And that's what we're trying to say, is that let us help in that process as a community to be able to make this happen and jump ahead of the curve. There's a lot of stuff going on right now from the state, from the federal, a lot of different things going on. And we just think that, maybe and we know that there's a huge water problem. It may or may not ever happen anyway, but maybe this is something that's like one little step. Let's try to make this thing happen so that we have the residents also understand that we are working with and for them. We are part of them. So we want to work together as a community to really make this thing happen. And that the transparency, is part of the process. One of the things I wanted to mention too, as far as leadership. So good leadership really stems from collaboration. So I've had a lot of different positions in my life. I'm even older than this guy. So, I've had a lot of different positions in my life.
Are you older than Harold?
No, this guy, right? I don't know about him. So, and that I don't always know the right answers, but what I know how to do is be able to pull people together to be able to say, let's collaborate, let's pull information together, and let's see what's the best way to move forward. And that's what we really want to do, is that we want to be part of that solution. We're not saying, you're the bad guy, I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just saying, overall, we really want to make sure that this is going to happen, because we know that there's a lot of different things. So we really want to help kind of steer this and make sure that we can be part of the solution.
Where we stand on the ordinance is, if you, and I believe you recall, I handed out revisions that our
Yes.
engineer did, and he indicated they were very preliminary. I expect to hear more from him, and I did not see a response from our former solicitor. They had that for 3 or 4 weeks. Harold, in your capacity, had you seen a response from our former solicitor?
I've not seen
Okay.
anything yet.
Well, Mr. Morrell is quite capable of reviewing that ordinance, certainly initially. I'd like to give you a copy of that. That was a proposed ordinance that came through the EAC after looking at a number of ordinances, and I'll attach to that our engineering report, so you can certainly have a chance to comment.
He did send it to me, the draft.
So one of the things that relative to Mr. Rhodes' comments were, he said, the zoning review is preliminary in nature. We recommend that the township or their appointed consultant, I don't know who that is or what that is referring to.
What we'll do is we'll get him to answer some of those questions.
Okay.
I can give it a crack, but that's not something he and I discussed. But from time to time, the board would be inclined to hire specialists on certain issues. We've got to obviously think about financial constraints, but there are times when, and I'm not suggesting, and I'm not speaking on behalf of Engineer Road, but there's times when a higher degree of expertise, both legal and, engineering. And I think this board is committed, and I want to speak for the entire board, to having a fully transparent and a fully vigorous discussion on that, so that, and as I think I mentioned earlier, you have to understand that's one piece of the puzzle. We talked about the zoning, the zoning ordinance. So that's what I believe that means.
Okay.
It's possible we'll be hiring additional people.
Right, and too, like as I said, is there are people within this community that have a lot of experience and expertise that is like free. So we can help channel that information, without just getting somebody that's gonna go up and blah, 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 blah. We don't have time for that, okay? So, that's really what we're trying to do. So my point then from here is, where is this? And where is this in the process? Is it now, you're gonna look at it, so that I know that I don't have to come to every workshop and
Well,
supervisor?
we'd like you to come to every workshop and every regular meeting, because you're informative and, we like to hear, as I started at the outset of this meeting, we like to hear from the public. But in my perception, where it is, assuming we didn't miss something and our previous solicitor didn't do a review, if they did, I'm going to get it still looked at and attach that review. So it's in our solicitor's hands, and I don't want to speak for him, but I would think he'll be able to have some perhaps preliminary comments on it by the workshop.
Tim,
Okay, so by the workshop of the next time. And we know that there's some things that definitely need to be looked at and reviewed and paid attention to. So it was, taking an idea of something that we took information from previous ordinances and kind of cobbled it together to what we thought was sort of the best thing, but there's pieces that may be counterintuitive with existing ordinances, which we don't have all that data. So, we're just trying to.
All that information's gotta be balanced against what we've already had.
Exactly.
So, and I think that zoning ordinance book is like over 1,000 pages. So it's got, somebody's gotta go through it, bounce it back and forth. The other question I had was, I understand that they're opening 3 Mile Island back up and building a data center next to it. So that's in, I think, Middletown Township in York County. Have they done anything about a data center yet?
In York, I don't know specific to York of where that is. I know that there's a lot of chatter going on relative to York. There's a lot of different places that are.
I would think as quickly as that's moving along, that they would be on this. The other thing I thought I just read is somebody's gonna build a data center right next to Limerick Generating Station.
Limerick, yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, the West Vincent situation which is like Limerick,
Yeah.
that's
It's all the
a
Chester County
very,
side.
right, so that has to do with some zoning changes and some variances
So
and some
have-
other things, which is why we want to
Well,
jump
yeah,
ahead
but
of.
do they have a data center ordinance, or have they done
They
anything?
do have a data center
Okay.
ordinance, and, the problem is that there was some zoning changes, and then there was some adjacent parcels that they were trying to put into place, and I believe there's also, a VA site that's very close. And so and most of it's a weird township in the way that it's kind of constructed, so
You mean
that's like
shape.
kind of up here, and most of the residents are here, and it's sort of like, okay, well, there's like maybe, I don't know, let's say percentage-wise, 5% of the people here and 95 here, and do they really care what's going up here? That's kind of what some of the vibe kind of comes from, but it's still of what's the best for everybody overall.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised because, in that area, there's a definite water shortage. I
Well,
mean,
yeah, there was a water shortage because, you know.
Limerick pipes it over
Limerick
from
doesn't
the,
even doesn't get water from the Schuylkill, they get it from the Delaware, so that never made sense in the first place, yeah. So there's places like that, there's, you know, the whole, Archibald, situation, which is up outside of the, Scranton, sort of like one of the little towns hovering around
Berwick.
there, and so it's, you know, coal mines and transitioning coal mines, there's different, you know, problems relative to that of, you know, you don't know what's underground, so there's a lot of different things going on, and regardless of which existing governor or somebody that wants to run for governor and what they think may not, or the current, resident of the Oval Office, you have to wait till there's laws, and that's why we're saying, let's do something here, because you don't know what they're gonna do, you don't know what they're gonna do, but we know what we can do collectively, and try to, you know, do what's best for us,
Okay,
okay? Thank
all
you.
right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we don't have any other new business or old business to this point.
Oh.
We're gonna,
one thing we do have is there is a insurance settlement has come in, for
Yes, yes.
damage that was done up at, East Point at the Navy Yard.
and that's not our money, correct?
That would be, it would go to the sewer authority, but, since technically you guys lease the lines, we would like, or I say you guys, that's the township leases the lines from the sewer authority. We would like, you guys, or the supervisor to sign off on it.
So you're looking for a motion to have the supervisors endorse,
Sign off the general release for the, damage that was done in the tune of $24,646.83.
and why, Mr. Steve, isn't that the township's money? Why is it the sewer authorities, if we own the lines?
But we own the lines.
Well, I
You-
mean, if we
you
lease the
them.
line,
You lease them.
so you're going to fix the lines with that money? or-
It's already been fixed.
All right, well, then it seems like it's authority money, so
You
I'll
want me to
make that
explain?
motion that we endorse the releases, provide the funds to the sewer authority for, what is it, the East Point matter?
Yeah, it's Newcastle, and the Navy Yard.
So that's the Newcastle matter. Do I have a second?
I think you should include the amount in your
But-
motion.
What's that?
Oh,
Oh,
like 24,000.
it's $24,646.83.
Yes, in the amount of $24,684.30.
Anybody want details on what happened? Okay.
No.
I'll
Okay.
second that motion.
Okay, all those in favor, Mr. Rhodes?
Yes.
Ms. Fix?
Yes.
Mr. Steve?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes. At this point, folks, we're going into executive session to discuss personnel matters. We have, to my knowledge, no plans for any further action. However, you know, there's always that possibility. For those of you who don't know, the YouTube continues streaming during that executive session, and we retire to some lavish facilities in the garage, which a tour was given a number of months ago, and another tour will be given at some point. So you're welcome to enjoy the heat or Or head home in this frigid temperature.
I think he did say he wanted to.
Well, he's gonna get with you.
Maybe just come and then.
Yeah.
You know, we failed.
For school, right, and it's been set up that way forever, which is so annoying to me. So, since I've been the principal at that's how the school set it up, I did approach the school board to find out if they could go back to having a local, and they said no, they like the way it's set up. So they actually have to compensate me for not collecting the taxes, do you know that? But they say it's still cheaper than paying me, is what they tell me. I have no idea if that's true or not, but yeah, it's crazy.
Our meeting is right here.
Okay.
Yeah, February 5th.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. I will do my best to be here. You did great.
So Bob, I wanted you to meet Anne Marie.
Hi, Anne Marie.
So Bob was
Hi.
appointed to the EAC Council. Anne Marie is been on the board for a couple of years. Yeah, a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi.
Thanks for everything.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, one thing, when the word guy used to be up here, remember that?
Yeah.
Remember?
Yep, I sure do.
Well, when they sunk, what, 5 wells, 6 wells, when they did, the water table went to shit because the people up on the mountain, their wells went.
The water guy, what do
It
you?
was
You know,
the business,
the one
it was called the water, like the guy that brings out your big,
water-
like water containers, yeah.
Yeah, that
They
business,
sunk
right, I do
wells
remember that.
in order to get water
Water,
to sell.
so, yeah.
Oh,
It's like a spring water company,
right, okay.
and when they sunk their wells,
Get out of here.
the
No.
water table,
Oh,
I'll wait till it's done.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
so they're not there anymore.
What happened with Newcastle? Do you know up here?
No, I don't know.
I don't know what happened either. When they said, does anybody wanna hear? I wanted to say, yeah, I wanna know.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
I don't know.
I don't know either. But they gave us money for something. $24,000.
Well, that's nice.
Right, but what? I don't know, cause it's up there. Who knows?
I don't know.
Now I'm curious. I gotta ask tomorrow. I'm calling. I'm finding out.
There you go, there you go, yeah.
Inquiring minds are clear.
Right? Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so,
Right?
yeah,
I
so.
don't know. So you're over on Cedar Hill,
No, I'm on Schuylkill Road.
Schuylkill Road.
I
Okay.
live on Schuylkill Road,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm Chris's next door neighbor.
Oh.
You don't wanna know where I am,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not the one with all the dogs, so.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, gotcha. All right.
So, yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so luckily this was like that, not long meeting.
No, this is quick tonight.
Yeah, with around as many people here. I think
Yeah,
it
and
was
not so
like a
many
workshop,
citizens'
And I
concerns.
understand, cause I did ask at the very end, I'm like, I don't understand the difference between the workshop and the regular meeting.
Yeah.
Because they seem like they are two meetings
So
that you have to
the
go to.
workshop is when they talk about things, and the regular is when they approve it.
Yeah, but they were approving things
Things at the workshop,
so
yeah.
it's like very muddy.
And then when are citizens supposed to come? Only at the supervisors meetings or
No,
also?
you
No.
can have them on both, they're on both.
Yeah, they're on both
Yeah,
agendas.
they're on both.
Yeah, normally they use the workshop to talk about things, and I think they do approve some things at the workshop too, you're right. But I think like the majority of things, it kinda is like the pre-meeting to give them time to,
Right, and I understand, but it
Yeah.
wasn't,
right.
it's not always that way.
Yeah, I think Mr. Bittler was saying about like going down to one meeting, which would probably be beneficial for some things, but maybe not for all, I don't know.
Yeah, it's almost like they should meet like an hour before. As opposed to having two meetings, they should meet an hour before, then have the meeting, but like, you know, what.
I know,
what do
it's
I
a lot,
say?
yeah.
It's a lot. There's
Did
a lot
you
of
just
different
start
things going on.
coming when all this, is this kinda, is this new for you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was never really involved with,
Gotcha.
you know, the whole thing.
Yeah.
It was like, once we, you know, kind of got wind of this, data center
Right.
thing, it was like, we kind of said, no, you know, we're gonna take the lead on this.
Good.
And
That's
so
awesome.
we're gonna jump in there, and so
Awesome.
then it was like, okay, well now,
Yeah.
I have to come and babysit, like, I don't know what's going on,
Right.
you know, it's like, you
That's
know,
great
are the
that you're-
diapers wet? Do they need to be changed? Do
That's
you need a
great.
feeding? I
Right.
don't really know
Right,
where we are.
right. Yeah, well, good for you, that's awesome.
And I don't even
That's
have
great.
kids.
Yeah, that's great that you're here. 'cause
So that's,
what,
we just wanna make sure, you know, there's people that
Of
are
course.
interested, it's hard to get here.
Yeah,
You know, it's hard for me to
absolutely.
get here,
Yeah,
so,
me
you
too.
know, it's,
yeah,
you know, so we just.
I wish I could attend more meetings, but I do
Yeah.
have children and they're young and,
And that's the other thing too, is that on top of the fact that we don't have a township manager, that the website is horribly out of date. You know,
We do-
it's
yeah.
more than 7 months out of date. You know, Rich is the manager on the website.
yeah,
Okay, so,
we need a manager, that is known for
well, you
sure.
can still update things without having, you know.
Yeah, we definitely need a manager to
Yeah,
step in.
and, you know,
It's-
too, and
it's
I even said in the
complicated.
last time to, you know, have somebody that's your, you know, like a webmaster kind of thing, and it certainly is not, you know, good, God forbid, you dump something on Paula's shoulders,
Oh my
cause I'll
gosh.
tell you what, that woman's gonna run out the door.
She's amazing,
Yeah.
I tell her all the time. I stop in, you know, to submit my reports and stuff, so
Uh-huh.
I see, yeah, she's working
Yeah,
her tail
having
off.
other people, coming in and
Yeah.
some other part-time people is really nice, you
Yeah.
know, and stuff, you know, and so then somebody else like reaching out to me like, who are the new people on the board? It's like, well, I didn't like them, why don't you ask them? Kind of was my response,
Right,
you know, not to be a jerk, but I'll respond to her tomorrow, but, you know,
yeah,
just when I first got here, I said to them, listen, you guys pick them,
right,
why are they asking me?
right. Very good point.
All right, Kate, I gotta head out. All right, nice job. Bye, thank you.
Bye-bye, you bet.
Alright, so I'll see you on
All
the
right,
fifth.
See you at the, I guess, EAC organization meeting.
Yep.
Learn more about you, yeah.
Alright, I gotta go.
Coming up, all right, good night.
Thanks, Carrie.
You bet.
Good seeing you.
Yeah, good luck. Keep us posted.
Yeah.
Again, I try to get down here as much as I can, but tonight my son had an early basketball game, so I was able to get here today.
Yeah,
But
but no, I think you do a good job and,
Thank
you know,
you.
it's like, you know,
Thank you.
the elections are get a little wacky with people saying this, that, and the other thing, so,
yeah,
you know, I don't know.
yeah. Thank
Just
you.
wanna, like, you know, when people do a good job, he tells me you're doing a good job.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
that's-
I try to do a good job.
Yeah,
Keep the public informed, you know?
yeah. Sounds good.
All right, have a good night.
Yeah.
It went before three judge on the panel, and they made a decision on that, and it was called the pain test. It was a 3-factor test that you have to prove before the courts will even look at it.
Person that ain't gonna get very far.
Nobody ever comes up with it.
Well, car keys are in there, I won't get very far. Try this again.
Usually don't recognize it because of the 3-factor pain test. I believe that.
Honestly, there's so many places, I think somewhere else is Data Center's gonna jump in and then that's gonna be the end of this.
I hope so. Well, all the research I was going so far, and I was actually, before I was even appointed to the board,
Yeah. $6,000 for a rubber bumper?
You gotta be kidding me.
Like, that's
That's,
robbery.
it is, that's,
I can take a couple,
Can't you
two
just
by fours
put,
and
like,
make a
the-
cement one across there.
what about like the thing that just tells you how fast you're going?
We have that.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't care about that?
They don't care about that.
Kids will race to see how fast they can get.
Yeah.
My God,
Mm.
I see that and I'm like, oh shit, see, I'm old, that's what that says, right? You're old, Gary.
Wait till you're 70.
I'm telling you though, I'm like going down 422 and I see that thing, I'm like, oh!
Well, down in Maryland, they have cameras on those.
I believe it, for speed.
Yeah.
No second ticket.
Yep, cause I was going down through there, and all of a sudden, you know how like the ones around here have blue and red lights, like
Yeah.
a police car? They shut up and went
Click. Really?
Unless they have the ticket in the mail.
yeah, real nice, picture of your license plate.
Yeah, they're actually becoming pretty popular in like down in New Jersey, I think Maryland.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places down that way.
Virginia has them,
Yeah.
cause when I was going down to Georgia, they had them.
Well, they'll be here soon.
Yeah.
They will be.
Alright, I'm gonna get out of here.
Yeah, me too.
I'm thinking this, I don't think they're gonna come back with anything anyway, so,
I don't think so.
yeah, not tonight. Alright guys, have a good night.
Yeah, see you.
See you later.
Yeah. Problem is if
Guess they took my advice.
They did. Email them and let him know to call you.
Okay.
So we're back in session from executive session,
He sits here.
or we're back in the room
Two
at
seats on
8:24. Are there any other motions, any other business before this board?
Yeah. I'll make a motion that we advertise for all vacant positions.
Do I have a second? I have a second for that.
Oh, I'm sorry, what was the motion?
I made a motion that we advertise for all vacant positions.
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor, Mr. Rhodes,
Yes.
Ms. Fix,
Yes.
Mr. Steve,
Yes.
and I'll vote yes. Any other business before this board? Then I'd entertain a motion to adjourn at 8:25.
I'll make the motion to adjourn at 20:25.
8:25.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Ms. Fix, Mr. Rhodes,
Yes.
Ms. Fix,
Yes.
Mr. Steve,
Yes.
and I'll vote yes. Thank you for everyone for coming out tonight.
Oh, and please don't forget the, well, we'll call when we get the checks ready on Monday.